So handstand to crow, I actually think it's a pretty easy movement to learn. Obviously doing it that way very, very slowly is tricky. Takes a little bit of time to learn the efficient path. So we need to work on the balance, we need to work on the strength, and just the control in the movement. Make sure you have a handstand, make sure you have a crow. So let's break it down and look at the different components. So this is pretty simple. We have a handstand, we have a crow. We need the crow to be very solid. So, because you're going to be lowering down to it. If you have a crow that looks very nice but just falls over if it's windy, we need to work on making it stronger. So you should be able to move around in the crow. It will be much easier if you can hold like a single leg crow, and if you can shift your weight forwards and backwards. So a really good drill to either test that or to strengthen it is to slowly enter the crow and exit the crow, both from the front and from the back. So as you can see here, like I've gone into a crow very, very slowly, and then I'm lowering the head towards the floor. Then I'm going up into a headstand. You don't have to go all the way up into the headstand. You don't even have to take the knees off, but to be able to then go back into the crow and then back to the squat very slowly, and just be able to pause at any point in that. So to strengthen that, so slowly into the crow, and then into the headstand, and then back into the crow again. That just strengthens, because basically you're only going to move forward and backwards in the crow, you're not going to go to the side, so strengthening that front back is really important. If you struggle to get the head to the floor, you can do it this way. You'll notice I'm starting in that tripod position, so it's triangle between the hands and the head, and then I'm just resting one foot and then the other foot onto the elbows, so I'll get into the crow position with the head starting on the floor, and then I slowly go backwards. Now notice when the weight transfers fully to the hands, if I just kept like this, I'm just going to fall straight back to my feet. So what I need to do is, as the head comes off the floor, I'm going to take the shoulders and the head forwards very slightly, which stops the momentum taking me backwards, and then I can hold the crow. So I'd recommend you definitely work on that one. Different entries and exits in and out of the crow position, so we make it a very strong foundation, so where we're going to lower to in the handstand. Then the next thing is, how do we slow down the path from the handstand to the crow? So we need to increase time under tension throughout that movement. The best way to do it is, if you're not super controlled in the freestanding handstand yet, is to do it up against the wall. So here I've kicked up to the wall, and then I'm going to slowly bend the knees. Now let the feet come apart with this one. Don't worry about it to be a super tight tuck. Just let the feet come apart, because this one's going to be tricky to not fall away from the wall and get back to your feet. So I'm going to slowly bend the knees, take the butt to the wall. Then once the butt comes away from the wall, because the body started to roll away because your knees and your thighs have come too low, then you want the low back to push against the wall, then the mid back, then the upper back. Try not to even touch the head to the wall, but if it lightly touches, that's fine, but we don't want to put too much pressure through the head. And then, depending on the distance you are away from the wall and your flexibility on how tight you can hold that ball position, you should be able to at least get the knees to touch the elbows. You just might not be able to hold it there. So that's just going to slow that down, so we can then build strength, because you're going slow enough to create that time under tension to get the response for the body to get stronger through that path, and for you to really understand it as well. So just really slowly down through that. A prerequisite to that, and something that you should already have probably, is this wall lean. So when I've kicked up to the wall, I'm just going to take my shoulders and my back to the wall at the same time. Just don't let the butt or the back touch before the shoulders, so everything goes together to the wall, and then so the shoulders are in that closed position. Then we should be able to open the shoulders back to your start position, and you should be able to rep this out. If you can't work on this before you start to do it freestanding, and then once you go to freestanding, you just repeat the same drill. So just trying to go really slowly down, let the knees come apart through the tuck position, and then see if you can find your elbows. There is going to need to be, but you don't need to have it, but ideally there'll be a slight bend in the elbow. So if you started like handstand push-up work and stuff as well, they're going to work hand in hand with this movement. And most people that are going to go for this skill will already be working handstand push-ups or have some sort of strength or ability through there anyway. You can do it with a planchy one where you keep the arms straighter, but it's harder to hit that sweet spot and catch the crow. So have a go. There's only like 2 or 3 exercises I do for this. It should be something you're doing hand in hand with your handstand strengthening exercises, so planche and handstand push-up and that type of thing, your freestanding holds, so getting conditioning and control in different shapes and in the straight line with the handstand, and then arm balances should be something that you're playing with as well if you want this skill. So yeah, just work on that. Let me know how you go. Stick any questions or comments below. Subscribe would be appreciated, and I'll see you next time. Oh, and I'll just add on the end of this video my attempts and the things I've done in and out of the crow in today's session.